I'm just going over a 20 Atal'Dazar I did earlier today. So for the first pull, what I mainly focus here is just getting my Flame Shock out. So I Flame Shock one target, Primordial Wave something else, then Lava Lash and Spread. My main targets here are the Confessor and the Augur. Confessor's mainly for the Bwonsamdi's Mantle to make sure we don't miss that kick. Because that kick is, well, not amazing missing. Otherwise it's their mend. Then of course, you know, AoE interrupt with knock up, thunderstorm, and incap totem, things like that. But mainly just keeping the Confessor under control, making sure to interrupt the Bwonsamdi's Mantle is very important. Otherwise, it's the Augur's fiery enchant that they channel into Juggernaut that you want to interrupt. Otherwise just stun, things like that, and burn them down. Going down here, I don't think we do them on boss. I don't remember. Regardless, for like any of the Sordid packs, if you're doing a double pull, Ancestral Guidance is amazing for it. I don't have it up here. I wish I did. Because Ancestral Guidance can heal up a lot of their damage when they jump around, since you're doing so much AoE damage to them. So for Rasan, it really depends on how people pull it. Some tanks pull, you know, trash with Rasan. Which gives you a ton of funnel damage into the boss. If you can get a couple of raptors, you know, anywhere between a 1+ raptor, it's very good. So here I pop Tremor Totem. I pop Tremor on every other, so first and third fear. But like I said, if you can have a raptor or a couple of raptors up, you can Primordial Wave them, or for more haste. And the Flame Shock for more Lava Lash damage as well as CDR, and you can Crash Lightning to, you know, get more Maelstrom, and you funnel all of that into Razan. So on Tyrannicals it can be a bit sketchy, because the Raptors hurt a lot, so it really depends on how beefy your tank is. Second Terrifying Visage, they just run behind, and then I go back. Other thing I can do is, when there's a pursuit, I'll Windrush the faraway target, to give them some extra speed boost in case they need it. But otherwise there's not really much you can do here. Just pray for raptors to pad from, because I mean just 2 additional raptors is 8% more haste every 12 or every 24 seconds for 12 seconds. So it does translate into some boss dam. So we're going back here up to Priestess and doing a Giga pull here with Colossus, Confessors. So for a pull like this, again, I would keep an extra eye on the Confessor to make sure Bwonsamdi's Mantle doesn't get missed. I want to recall we do miss it here, but I'm not sure. But that's usually where my focus is. But I funnel in all damage I can into the Colossus. So I will just, you know, spend all my Elemental Blasts into that, Lava Lash the Colossus to try and make sure that it dies roughly at the same time as everything else. Because it does have a lot of health. There you have the fiery enchant from the Augur. Should have been interrupted sooner, but it's the one that does all the fire swirls everywhere. There you can see Pack dies, and the Colossus dies at the same time as everything else. So had I only been, you know, Chain Lightning, tab targeting on everything, the Colossus would be alive when everything else dies. So the pull would have taken longer. Plus, we can also purge the buff the Colossus get. In this Giga pull, it really depends. Sometimes I, you know, spend 1 Elemental Blast to get the buff, and then I'll just Chain Lightning, because there's not really anything that needs to die faster in this pack. The Augur could be annoying, but it's just interrupt the fire enchant. The Juggernauts is, you know, in a high Fortified Key, you might want to kill those off first and funnel into them, because their charge really hurts. But otherwise you can kind of Chain Lightning pad on a pack like this. Make sure to use Incap Totem, knock him up. Then going in for the boss herself, Alonza. So what I usually do for this boss is I'll Primordial Wave on pull to get 10 Maelstrom and get the cooldown on Primordial Wave. And I'll spend the Maelstrom Elemental Blasting the boss, so that when the ad spawns I can just Flame Shock it, then Lightning Bolt to trigger Primordial Wave. So you get a lot more burst damage into the ad, you get the extra haste, plus you don't have to hold Primordial Wave for it to spawn. You can still pop it on pull, you just Elemental Blast, spend the Maelstrom instead. But other than that, there's not really much tech to it. Throw a stun totem so it stuns, you know, as the mob spawns. But otherwise, I try to primordial wave them. If it doesn't line up like it does in here, I have a few seconds left, then I usually don't go full Pepega ham into the ad until I can primordial wave it. I didn't do it here because I'm dumb, but that's usually what I do. So for this pack, I try to Flame Shock and spread on the 4 big targets here. And then I primordial wave the Sky Screamer, make sure it's interrupted, and then I funnel from that one. Not that it's super sketch anymore, it's just one interrupt, but the fear is really the only thing that can screw you over, so might as well burn it down. Otherwise, you can just chain lightning cleave these, because most of them just need to can die at the same time. Also, big brain, if you didn't notice, when there are shades up from the affix, you can flame shock them to get more, you know, more resources, more primordial wave targets. So for pulls like this, where you have lots of Saurids, small mobs, and a Sky Screamer, this is a perfect pull to funnel enhancement damage in, because the small Saurids will just melt. So you use them to get more stacks of primordial waves, so you get 40% haste, and then you just burn everything into the Sky Screamer. For the middle pack pull, there are 3 big mobs that needs to die. So usually what I do is try and get a big primordial wave off right off the bat, so you get 40% haste, then tab target between the 3 big mobs to get lashing flame up on all of them. And then I just, you know, I just keep tab targeting, elemental blasting here, because there's only 3 targets. Technically you could chain lightning, but I prefer to elemental blast them. And that's pretty much it. You just tab target, elemental blast, funnel all that damn. We can line up Ancestral Guidance with one of the Wild Thrash, right. So we can line up Ancestral Guidance with this one to help healers out, if we want to. I didn't here, because screw healers.
Screw healers.
Again, if you have Ancestral Guidance up for a double pull like this, you can see here, I'm just gonna go back just a little bit. So we do the big pull. The healer is gonna get focused by every single Saurid in the known universe, and I get my Ancestral Guidance off like half a sec after he dies, if I remember correctly. Look at this here, he's full his health. No, he's not full health, but he's got HP. That's where I pop my Ancestral Guidance. That's where he dies. These packs are the packs I personally hate the most in Atal'Dazar, especially when you pug it. The Shield Bearers pops the Bulwark of whatever it's called, UU, and they never line it up. So you're always gonna get one of them casting it, then another one, either, you know, instantly after, or a second after, or 2 seconds, but it will always be offset. So as Enhancement Shaman, we cannot instantly stun. We have to time our in-cap totem. The timing you want to go for, and this is if everyone plays it correctly, which they don't in pugs, I will wait for, there you see the first one pops, and then, you know, when it's halfway done, I'll throw down my in-cap totem. Because the next one, because there's 1 second left, the next one should cast his shortly after. But if somebody stuns it here, if a demon hunter pops, you know, their Nova, whatever it's called, and stuns them, that means my in-cap totem will trigger during his stun. Which means when both of ours are done, then the mob is gonna cast the shield, and none of us will have stuns. So if you play with an Enhancement Shaman, either wait for their in-cap totem or wait for the second Bulwark before you AoE stun. He casts first, see, there's only 1 shield up, and then, see, the Monk, the Mistweaver, stunned it. Only 1 shield up, Mistweaver stuns it. You know, these things happens every single time you're here. So just a friendly reminder, regardless of what you play, if you're gonna AoE stun them, in-cap, whatever, wait for the second shield before you press it. You are not helping anyone by instantly stunning one of them, unless it's a singular stun, like Hammer of Justice, then do whatever. Second thing I wanted to mention about this pack is when the Stalkers are in it, the Stalker will actually poison the tank. With like Venom Fang Strike, as you can see there. So play Poison Cleansing Totem and you can help the tank with that. Otherwise, I just try to interrupt Unstable Hex or Venom Blast from the casters. So for this pull, you have the Guards and the Reanimation Totem. The Guards have way more health than anything else. So what I usually do is Flame Shock the Reanimation Totem, Then I Primordial Wave and go to town on the guard, trying to funnel it down at the same, so it dies at the same time as the Witch Doctor, because it has way more health. And for the Witch Doctors, if you aren't lazy, you want to interrupt Venom Blast and Unstable Hex. And you can knock these up, but you cannot knock the guard up. This is also a great Ancestral Guidance pack, especially on Fortified, because the Rotting Decay that the guard keeps spamming does a lot of damage on Fortified. It's a good Ancestral Guidance pack. For the boss, it's a bit... It might look weird what I'm doing here on pull, but I'm trying to get the most out of my globals as possible in the opener, because you ideally want to Flame Shock all 4 of them before you Primordial Wave to burst even more. So depending on, I try and pick a totem that I'm gonna nuke down, and then I Flame Shock either the totem or the boss, spread from them to each other. So I think I'm doing it from, you'll see here, I Flame Shock the boss, he gets pulled to a totem, I Lava Lash it, so it spreads to the totem he's standing on. Then I will run Primordial Wave the far away one, there it is, and then I will go and Flame Shock another totem. So now I have Flame Shock up on everything. When I press Lightning Bolt, it will hit all 3 totems, give me 12% more haste, so 32% haste. Math. We actually do screw up these totems, I remember. But yeah, we can do a lot to the totems for 2 reasons. We have very good split cleave burst with Primordial Wave, Flame Shock, we can throw Elemental Blast, you name it. But also the fact that no DPS will ever want to press cooldowns on the totems. They're never gonna do it. We can get out at least 2 Primordial Waves before the boss fight actually starts, so we're naturally just gonna do more damage overall to all the totems. But you see here, we screw it up, and the totems resurrect. So, you know, take my info with a grain of salt, very large grain of salt. But yeah, if you don't screw it up, you can do some amazing things here by just, you know, keeping Flame Shock up on everything, Primordial Wave, Elemental Blast. From far away, if you need to even them out, you can see I'm running back and forth just to try and even them out. Then we can jump in. The boss itself is nothing special to it. Make sure it's interrupted. Stutter step every 2-3 globals, so you find a spot, smack it 3 times, then you move a little bit. That's all there is to it. Yasma. So you have 2 choices here. Either you hold Primordial Wave, so you pop Wolfie's weight with Primordial Wave and then you use it on the ads, or you hold it for like 5 seconds, pop it, Elemental Blast, and then spread it on the ads and get it out on them. I'm not sure which is better, so I usually do different a little bit now and then. But if you just Primordial Wave send on pull, that will be fine. Then it's usually around the second set. As you can see, Soul Rend, which is when the ad spawn, is within 10 seconds. My Primordial Wave is going to be ready in 7 now. So for this one, I can Primordial Wave, Elemental Blast the boss, which is what I do. Elemental Blast on cooldown. And this is to, you know, just get Primordial Wave on cooldown. I still have it running in the background, the buff. I have 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and then I Lightning Bolt to get more. This, however, got screwed because my group wanted to run to the literal end of the universe so I can spread my Flame Shock, but you'll see here it is. So I have my Primordial Wave, it's the little buff I have here that says 7.9. So my buff is running, and if we had stopped somewhere around here, you know, they drop the ads, I Flame Shock, Lava Lash, it'll all be good. But we run all the way out, yeah. So I can't spread it. There's nothing to spread from. So very sad day indeed. But if done correctly, then you can spread to them, Primordial Wave, run back to boss. If you don't want to min-max that much, then just Primordial Wave boss constantly, and when the ads spawn, you make sure to Flame Shock to spread it, you Crash Lightning, and you do a Spender on them so you can Ice Strike Frost Shock, because that will do a lot of burst AoE as well. Or you can make sure to always hold Primordial Wave so it's always up for the ads, but usually the ads aren't an issue. I just like being able to Primordial Wave 4 extra targets, because that's a lot of haste to smash into boss. Also, the spiders will kill you if you stand on them, so don't. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Atal'Dazar 20 on Fortified. and I looted the trinket that I need for Smolder on Prague.